Streaming now, this is the Wood TV Live Desk.
And good afternoon, everyone. Phil Penarski here with the News 8 Live Desk. Hope you're having a great day so far. Storm teammate meteorologist Blake Harms is back on the live desk as we here in West Michigan continue to monitor the possibility of severe weather. We saw a little bit of it yesterday. And Blake, we brought you on here to really talk about what, if anything, we can expect coming up later on today. I know a lot of people are hoping that maybe we dodge a little bit of a bullet again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Phil, it is looking like we may be able to escape this one. At least that's what we're hoping. Here's a look at radar just a few minutes ago, and you can see the line that is now formed over western Iowa. That is the line that eventually is going to be moving in here late tonight. Pretty extensive line that's already formed, and it's expected to wreak havoc across much of the state of Iowa. Storm Prediction Center has that area highlighted in a level 4 of 5 for severe weather. In fact, I think we have the map that shows the severe weather risk highest across the lake. There it is right there. You see the level 4 in place for most of Iowa, parts of Wisconsin, Illinois, Missouri as well. And that is the main focus for severe weather over there. Winds up to 80 to 90 miles per hour, a few tornadoes. It's going to be a real mess over there. Things get a little trickier as we get closer to home. You see that areas west of US 131 have a level 3 of 5 risk, an enhanced risk, with a level 2 elsewhere. And this is mainly for about 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. tonight. That's the primary time frame of concern. Now, the weather models that we look at as of yesterday, we're certainly carrying this line in more than it is today. It looks like we may see this line weaken pretty substantially as we get into later tonight. So here you're looking at Futurecast. This is for 7 o'clock tonight. Notice the storms are still over in Iowa. Now they are really going to be picking up speed as they move their way in our direction. At that time, the storms will be very, very strong, producing strong winds, likely a few tornadoes, and maybe some hail. Now as it continues to work its way eastward, it looks like we may get a break in that line where the strongest part dips off to the north. This is 10 o'clock, and West Michigan not seeing anything yet. And the latest models, if we step one step further, this is 2 a.m. Notice that there's not much left of that line. So
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a tricky part of the forecast where it looks like the line may fall apart before it makes it here. But if the line's able to hold together, we could be looking at 60 to 70 mile per hour winds along the lakeshore counties especially. So a really tricky setup. Bottom line is that there is a growing chance that we don't see much of anything tonight. But if that line does survive the lake and make it to West Michigan, we could be looking at some pretty severe wind, especially for the lakeshore area.
So it's really just more of a matter of kind of keeping an eye on it, seeing how it really plays out over the next couple of hours.
Exactly.
Really.
This is really a wait-and-see type event. The other piece is that the lake, it's warmer than it usually is this time of year, but it's still cold, and so that may act to kill the storms off faster as well. So several factors at play, but at this time, we like what we're seeing, and we hope that trend continues, but we're not also completely out of the woods yet.
Yeah, no, that was going to be kind of my next question, after yesterday. I mean, sort of what really is kind of playing into this, I wouldn't say sudden string or pattern really of severe weather, but we have kind of seen it over the past couple of days and even kind of a shift in temperatures about a week ago. Just kind of, what are some of the factors that are really playing into that?
Yeah, well, we're solidly in what's called a warm sector. So the warm front has passed through. We're in the 80s. We have dew points well into the 60s, upper 60s at last check. I think Grand Rapids was up to a dew point of 67, which is muggy. And what that's doing is providing the fuel and the moisture across much of the Great Lakes. Those storms in Iowa are firing along the cold front, and that is what the forcing mechanism is for those storms to form. And then as that cold front moves east, the storms will be moving east as well. And so it's a very strong system. We see them sometimes in the spring, but this is a pretty impressive setup for spring standards.
Right, absolutely. And Blake, before we kind of continue, if you want to get to some of the Facebook questions, we've been getting them. Obviously, if people have them, we'd love to hear them, try to answer them to the best of our abilities. We've got one from Riley talking about how more specifically, Mecosta County. Is there any expectations of big, severe weather down there that they should be kind of keeping an eye out for?
Yeah, well, the good news is that it looks like the storms will really be weakening. Now, can't entirely let your guard down, but the strongest winds, if we see them, will be along the lakeshore.
Right.
And then those storms will likely weaken. I know Mecosta County has some damage from straight-line winds yesterday, some trees and power lines down. Good news is the threat there appears lower tonight than it was last night.
Right.
And so important to not let your guard down, but I think the potential there is lower.
Yeah, and we have another one from Paul asking specifically about Grand Rapids, maybe the downtown area. I know you showed a couple of those graphics we had a little bit earlier that kind of told that, we may see a little bit something, but really it is just kind of a waiting game at this point.
I think there is certainly the potential for some gusty thunderstorms. They will be weakening as they continue to approach the 131 corridor and especially move east of there. It is a wait-and-see event, and we're seeing the line form. The question is, to me, is what happens between the hours of about 7 and 10 tonight as that line moves through Wisconsin and northern Illinois? Does it start to break apart, or does it hold together as it starts across the lake? If you look at radar at 10 o'clock tonight and you see the line still well formed and in good shape, then we may be in for quite the storm come midnight or 1 a.m. But if we see that line already breaking up by 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, that will be a good sign that our severe weather chances will be lower.
Right, yeah. No. So again, we're going to be obviously keeping everybody up to date as time goes on. You can find all the information obviously in our newscast from the rest of Storm Team 8, but then also over on our website, woodtv.com, we're going to be bringing you all of the latest coverage. It seems like there are a lot of questions right now regarding specific locations. I would highly encourage everybody to head on over to our website where you can actually get a little bit better idea, maybe check out the radar. That should help explain a little bit of things. But I see a couple of questions already about the possibility of how severe this might get, Blake. If you want to just touch on that again, just question. About, how, say worst comes to worst, we are in that sort of 3 range of severe weather levels. Talk about, what could we possibly see worst case scenario?
Yeah, I think, Phil, worst case scenario for us would be that line holding together as it crosses the lake. Our lakeshore communities seeing winds of 60 to 70 miles per hour, and then 60 mile per hour winds extending as far inland as close to the Lansing area. I think that would be worst case scenario for us tonight.
Right.
Tornado chances low, hail chances very low. We're really just looking at those straight line winds. And again, I think worst case scenario would be those storms to hold together and produce severe winds throughout the area. But the most likely scenario at this time is for those storms to be weakening, potentially not giving any West Michigan severe weather, but also potentially providing some gusty winds centered on the lakeshore areas.
Yeah, no, definitely something that we are going to be keeping a closer eye on. And again, highly encourage everybody to stay tuned to our newscast. We're going to be breaking down everything as things start to develop and we get maybe a more clear picture of time frames and what we might expect. And then, of course, all the time, 24/7 over on woodtv.com. Blake, thank you so much for stopping by again. We love having you on the live desk. But yeah, we're going to be looking forward to seeing what kind of happens over the next couple of hours.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. Yeah, we've got 3 of us upstairs, Scott, Ellen, and I, and we'll be staffed throughout the night, about to provide an update on the going story we have on woodtv.com about severe weather potential. So you'll have a way to stay in touch with us, and of course, if anything happens tonight, we'll go on TV and online as well.
Yes, absolutely. All right.